Hello. T3 Plays here. The official trailer for Celestial Guardians has now dropped. So, what we're going to do is go through the trailer in one go. And after the trailer, what we'll do is analyze everything we've seen and try and understand how it will affect the game going forward. So, strap in and let's go. As you've seen, Celestial Guardians revolves around the Sun and Moon, Gen 7. So we've got the Solgaleo and Lunala, as well as the Alolan Pokemon. First up, we have Solgaleo EX. It's a tanky boy at 180 metal, and it's a stage 2. And one thing you may not know is Solgaleo and Lunala share the same pre-evolutions. So Cosmog and Cosmom. So you can run both of these EXs and then make the decision on which way you want to go. Either pick Solgaleo EX or the Lunala. But we'll discuss this further when we look at Lunala EX. First of all, let's look at its abilities and its attack. So it has the ability Rising Road. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch it with your active Pokemon. I think this is an amazing ability which will change the game because you could put any tanky boy up top. You could put, well, you don't even have to use metal Pokemon. You could put a Regirock, Melmetal, Snorlax, anything that takes huge amounts of hits. Put it up top, let it soak up some damage, and then when the Solgaleo EX is ready, you switch it out and start beating the opponents down. I think it's an amazing ability, and we'll see how it pairs up with other support cards. I think this ability will change the meta. And now let's look at its actual attack. So for 2 energy, it can do 120 damage, and it only does 10 damage to itself. I think that's amazing. I think there's no other, well, there's very little Pokemon that does this much damage for very little energy. Obviously, the only other that's an anomaly is the Rampardos, but generally, a 120 is a very hard hitting Pokemon. So I think the Solgaleo EX will be a pretty popular Pokemon, and 2 retreat costs and standard weak to fire. I think, yeah, this is going to be one to look out for. So let's now move on to the other side. So we've seen the sun. Now let's move over to the moon. So we have here Lunala EX, another tanky boy. 180 Psychic Stage 2. As you can see, same pre-evolutions. And so as you can see, it runs 1 Psychic energy and 2 colorless energy. And that Psychic energy, you don't need to get it from your energy zone. You can run it with another meta Pokemon. That meta Pokemon being Giratina. And with its ability, you can now drag it from the Giratina, put it on the Lunala EX, and power it up with metal. Yep, metal, you heard me. Because a Solgaleo runs on metal. So you could run metal energy, pair it with Lunala, have a Giratina, then attack with this big boy. I can't wait to see how this Pokemon gets used and the combinations because I think it can do amazing things. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of other cards that will be released that will pair with it really well. So I can't wait to see what happens. Another way you could use it is you could have all these energy that you have. move it to the active Pokemon. Attack, attack, attack. You go low down in health to like 20, 40 health. Withdraw, put something else in. You can put a Mewtwo in. And then if you have three energy on this, you lost one, two. Mewtwo has two. You move all that energy off that, put it through Mewtwo, and Mewtwo hits for 150. So there's various ways you can use this ability and this Pokemon. So I think, and with a retreat cost of just one, I think it can be amazing. But yeah, these new X's are getting stronger and stronger with its abilities, attack. Yeah, 100 damage isn't much, but this ability can do wonders. Just like how Giratina, everyone thought it was trash, but then people slowly realize how powerful something like that is. Okay, let's move on to the next Pokemon. So next up we have Rowlet. Nothing special. 60 HP, grass, basic Pokemon, does 20 damage for 1 energy. Not bad. But what we'll see is there's two different variations of the starter Pokemon, a sun version and a moon version. So here's the second version of Rowlet, which you can get from the Lunala pack, which is similar HP, but the moveset is different. So it does Skill Dive, which does 10 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So it can be usable, but I don't know how much use it will be. But obviously, it'll have its evolutions, and hopefully, the evolutions are much better. Next up, we have Litten. 60 HP, fire, does heat tackle for 30 damage, which isn't bad, and does 10 damage to itself. One retreat cost, not bad. And obviously, it then eventually evolves into Incineroar, which is pretty popular amongst people. So now we'll see the other version that you can get from the Lunala pack. So this version does scratch for 20, so it doesn't take any damage, but does 20. So depending what you're feeling or how you want to run your deck, you can opt for whichever version works for you. We have Popplio over here, similar thing, water gun, 20 damage, one retreat cost, nothing amazing. Then we have the version that's in the Lunala pack. So this has the ability Sing. So it puts your opponent to sleep. It runs colorless energy. So we'll see what the evolutions, what energy they require, and you could potentially put this in various decks. Now we have Alolan Meowth. So with these Alolan Pokemon, what you see is the regular typing gets changed. So Meowth is obviously colorless, normal Pokemon, but the Alolan variant is dark. So scratch for 20, nothing amazing, but we'll obviously then see an Alolan Persian. Next up, we have Oricorio. We have two different versions of this. This version deals 40 damage for 2 energy, psychic Pokemon, and it also confuses them. 70 HP, not bad, but 2 energy for a basic. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this because it does decent enough damage, confuses. I think it has some play, so we'll see how it plays out. It's not bad. So let's see what the other version does. So this one's known as the Sensu form. So similar HP, psychic again. We'll have to zoom in for the attack, which is pretty lengthy. Okay, Spiteful Dance does 20 plus damage. So if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this move does 60 more damage. So similar to a Marshadow, but this one does less damage. So Marshadow does 100 damage, and this one does 60 damage. This is obviously a psychic, but it only requires 1 energy. This will change up the meta. Well, change up the meta, or yeah, it will shake it up, but definitely because the Marshadow, you do have to set it up because you have to put it down, put an energy on it. So you tell your opponents, what's going on, what the play is. But with this one, it only needs 1 energy. You could, during your attack, put it down, or you could lose a Pokemon put it down, put an energy, switch it in, attack for 80. With a red, attack for 100. Retreat cost of 1. I like it. And 70 HP. Not bad. Do like this. A lot of these cards are going to, shake things up. And I'm excited to see how the meta changes and what combinations you can do. Next up, we have a full art rainbow Alolan Raichu EX. So it's still a electric Pokemon, but with psychic abilities, and it's colorless. So you could splash this in any deck because it's a colorless Pokemon. So let's see. We've got a different version of this card, so we'll see the attack and what it actually does. From what we can see now, it does 60 plus damage. Okay, so psychic ability, this attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's like an Alakazam. So pretty good. So if you go against a fully powered Darkrai, so that's 90 plus 60, 150, you take them out. You go against Giratina if they have 4 energy on it. So that's 120 plus 60, 180. And you take them out. Okay, looks amazing. And then if you go against fully powered Gyarados for 120, 180, 200 with weakness. Interesting. Yeah, this Alolan Raichu can do some serious damage. HP of 140, not bad. Wow. This can really, this could be like the new Mew, where you just splash it into any deck and just to catch people off guard. Yeah, if you go against a Charizard with the new Charizard, that's 210. Wow. Yeah. This this new set will shake things up. Yeah, we definitely see a power creep. Like every new set, there's something more powerful, like in its abilities or the attack it does and how it's calculated. So yeah, this will be a very powerful Pokemon. They haven't overpowered it too much by making it, over 150. It's only HP of 140, but I like it. Okay, next up we have Alolan Vulpix, 60 HP, water, and let's look at the move. So it requires water energy. Call forth cold. Take water energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. So I'm guessing Alolan Ninetales requires probably 3 to 4 energy to attack. And you need to run water energy unless there's any other Pokemon that runs, that can attach water energy, etc. So this will have to be part of a water deck. Not bad. Looking forward to Alola Ninetales. Okay, this is the big boy. This is what I've been looking forward to. Alolan Marowak. So it's a fire Pokemon, so not fighting anymore. 110 HP. Oh, that artwork is amazing. When I used to play Pokemon Go, I loved this Pokemon. It just looks epic with its club on fire, the dark element of it. It's amazing. All right, let's zoom in and see what the attack does. So the attack requires 2 fire energy, 1 colorless, burning boomerang. Deals 70 times damage, similar to Marowak EX, so you could get 0. You flip 2 coins, this attack does 70 damage for each heads. So the Marowak EX used to do 160, so 80 for each. This is 70. Obviously, this one is not an EX. If at least one of them is heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burnt. Burning, as we've learned in the last set, or was it the previous set, does 20 damage if burnt, and they have to flip a coin to get out of the burn damage, or it continues. So this means you could either do 0 damage, 90 damage, or 160 damage in one turn. Because if you get one heads, you do 70 damage, and then the burn does 90. But if you do two heads, you burn them, you hit them for 140, and then you do 20 damage on burn, so that's 160. Okay, I do like this, and we'll see later down some trainer cards that might pair very well with Alola Marowak, which might make this easier to run in any deck. But we can discuss that further when we get to it. Next up, we have Rotom Decks. So it's an item card. Look at the top card of your deck, then you may shuffle your deck. Okay, so you can look at it and you'll have an option. So you're not forced to shuffle. You can look at it and go, okay, I like this, I don't want to shuffle it. You can look at it and go, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. Shuffle it and get a different option. Not bad, and you can then run, any other item cards with it. You could run a Pokeball to pull it out. You could run the Professor's Research then to pull it out. You know, not bad. So this little item is something that can really shake up the whole meta. An item card, imagine it. So choose one of your basic Pokemon in play. If you have a stage 2 card in your hand that evolves from that Pokemon, put that card onto the basic Pokemon to evolve it, skipping stage 1. You can't use this card during your first turn or on a basic Pokemon that was put into play this turn. So it works similar to if you had a basic Pokemon, you want to evolve it into stage 1. So if you have a Charmander, whenever you naturally could evolve it to a Charmeleon, that's when you play it. But instead of evolving to a Charmeleon, you have a Charizard in your hand. Using this rare candy, you can skip the Charmeleon and go straight to the Charizard. This is gonna shake up the whole meta because now the consistency issue which everyone had with running stage twos is dramatically reduced because throw this in, you can skip that stage 1, and this could change a lot of things as well. Like maybe you eliminate all the stage 1s altogether from your deck and you run multiple lines of stage 2 Pokemon. Imagine you can run a Meowscarada, Beedrill, Magnezone all together, and then you eliminate the stage 1s. So then you have more space by just by adding these two, and you commit to only evolving two of these Pokemon to the full line. This can get very interesting. And one thing I noticed, it probably doesn't run well with fossil decks. So fossils still, I think, are gonna have a hard time because a fossil is not a basic Pokemon, and like a Cranidos is actually a stage 1. So I don't think you can go from a fossil to the Rampardos. So that's my theory. We'll see if it works, but we could have a lot of new combinations of Pokemon out there because of this rare candy, and it could change the way we approach decks. We could, this could save by eliminating all those stage 1s. It creates some space. You can just throw this in, or you can commit to, yeah, I want to run my Charizard and I want to get it out quick. So you have just the Charizards, and then you throw these in, then you're definitely, even if you don't get your Charmeleon and you have a Charizard, you skip and you go straight to that. And then a Stoke ability, yeah, that Stoke ability is now fire because you only need one energy. You've added three. Next turn you can attack. So now it makes the new Charizard more viable. Very interesting to see how it actually plays out. Next up, we have is a support card, Ilima. Put one of your colorless Pokemon that has damage on it into your hand. So it is a budding expeditioner, like we have in Mew, but for all colorless Pokemon. Wow. So you could run a big tank that can take some attacks, stall like a Snorlax, an Arceus. Put it on, let it take some hits, and just pull it out. Wow. Like when you have this with like Mew and with Weezing and Koga, it's very powerful. And having something like this for a whole a whole typing, wow, unless you like one shot it, is at a point of damaging it, you're just going to waste your time. This could get very powerful. Interesting. Next up is Lana. You can only use this card if you have Araquanid in play. So that's a bug water Pokemon. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. Okay, so it's a supporter card. So it is like a combination of Cyrus and Sabrina. Because from what I'm reading is switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. It can't be just random and your opponent chooses, because that's a Sabrina. There's no point running this if you have a Sabrina, if it's random. This isn't like a Cyrus where they have to have damage. So the only other criteria they've added is you need to have an Araquanid in play. And if you have an Araquanid in play, I think you get to choose the opponent's Pokemon. And if the Araquanid is a strong Pokemon, this card is busted. Because you got Sabrina, Cyrus, and this on top. I have a feeling Araquanid is going to be trash. Because you need to fill up a deck with something trash. Because this ability seems super strong. And see, another card I can't wait to see how it plays out. Next up is Kiawe. So you choose one of your Alolan Marowak or Turtonator. So you can't see it here, but I've managed to pull this off elsewhere, the actual description. So choose one of your Alolan Marowak or Turtonator. Take 2 fire energy from your energy zone and attach it to the Pokemon. Your turn ends. So, like I mentioned before, I spoiled it earlier. You don't need to run a Alolan Marowak in a fire deck. You could run it in a grass deck, electric deck, metal deck. You turn one, you got your Cubone. So you started first turn. Then your next turn, you evolve your Alolan Marowak, add an energy. You use a supporter card, but the problem is the turn ends. So you do open yourself up to attack. So it's like the Charizard. And the Alolan Marowak, I think, has 110 HP. So early on, you can hit hard, but you got to be prepared for what comes next. Hopefully, they don't paralyze you, confuse you, or something in that time. But I like it. We haven't seen Turtonator yet, but we do have a support card for it. So it's same as Barry for Snorlax, Staraptor, and Pinsir. No, it was for Heracross. But Heracross, there was no use case. Maybe that's the same with Turtonator. So we'll see what Turtonator looks like. Next, Acerola, choose one of your Palossand, which is that Sandcastle Pokemon, or Mimikyu, which was that Pikachu-looking costume Pokemon that has damage on it, and move 40 of its damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. We haven't seen either of those cards yet, so those Pokemon could be, I'm guessing they'll be like 60 to 80 HP. Palossand maybe 100. And you can move 40 of its damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So using this, you could take out their Pokemon like a powerful Darkrai ability and then carry out your attack. Yeah, this new set is changing up how we even play the game. Not just changing the meta, how we even play the game. Crazy. These are very powerful cards. So I'm glad that I've saved a lot of my pack points, etc., to open these because these are going to be so powerful. Mallow. Heal all damage from one of your Shinotic or Serena. If you do, discard all energy from that Pokemon. Okay, we have Shinotic already. I'm guessing we'll get a different version. The Shinotic we have already, I really like. I think it requires 2 grass energy, 50 damage, puts them to sleep. But if you use this, you discard all energy from that. Interesting. We'll see how that plays out. But if you have like a superior running, you losing all the energy isn't that bad because you can add 1 energy and then you've got double already. And Serena, we have to see what that Pokemon looks like. And then we can see if how good this card is. But I'm guessing, seeing as how good all the other cards have been, this one's going to be probably really good as well. Next up, Sophical. So we can't see the full text, but I have managed to get what we believe is the full text. During this turn, attacks used by your Alolan Golem, Vikavolt or Vikavolt, or Togedemaru do 30 plus damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's another Blaine for specific Pokemon. So Alolan Golem, I'm pretty sure that's electric. So obviously Sophocles, from what I understand, it uses a lot of electric Pokemon. So okay, electric for electric power up for certain electric Pokemon. Not bad. And now we have Lily, our first ever immersive supporter card. So I think previously people, I think was it a promo Cresselia? You could see someone, little blonde girl staring at a window, and everyone was like, "That's Lily." So could be her. So Lily heals 60 damage from one of your stage 2 Pokemon. So this gives a lot of viability to running stage 2, like rare candy as well as this. Makes it amazing. Imagine before you have to worry about your Charizard taking a hit, it can heal for 60. It can heal for 60 while it stokes. Yeah, they're really trying to help out Charizard. Yeah, that's why this Charizard we'll all say is trash. Now we know why. Because they knew this was coming. Well played. Well played. All these screenshots are thanks to Pokemon Zone, and a lot of other sites have got these cards as well. They're taking it from the trailer, etc. But something that I haven't seen elsewhere is stage 1 of Rowlet, which is Dartrix. HP of 80. We haven't got any other information, so I'm not sure where they got this from because I don't see it on the trailer or on the Pokemon TCG Pocket official website. So we do have what this looks like, which is the stage 1, and obviously the stage 2 is the Decidueye. We also have the Torracat, which is the stage 1, and also the Brione. So that's the stage 1. But next up, what we have is something special. Wasn't in the trailer, but was on the Pokemon TCG Pocket official website, and that is Rayquaza EX. So this is the full art version. What we'll do is go into the non-full art version so we can read its abilities. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this Rayquaza. So Draco Meteor 4 colorless energy. So let's start off with 140 HP. Nothing amazing. It's colorless. So, well, they haven't made it a dragon, they made it colorless. So you can run in any deck. You could run it with Dialga. Could you run it with Giratina, Lunala? Interesting. One of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random 4 times. For each time a Pokemon is chosen, do 40 damage to it. Okay, so it's like a Dragonite. Dragonite does 50, 200 total. This does 40 damage for 160 in total. Not bad, but it is colorless, which changes a lot of things. 140 isn't super tanky, but isn't bad basic Pokemon as well, so can get interesting. So the Rayquaza is part of the promo event that we'll be running. So I think if you complete the missions and you're able to get a full art Rayquaza EX, not bad. So the new pack will be dropping April 29th, depending on where you are in the world, what time zone. And then you'll have also the new mission that's dropping at the same time and gives you the details. You can read all of this on the Pokemon TCG Pocket website, as well as probably it's in the news box as well on their app. So we have covered everything that we've seen in the trailer, in the website, and some other little snippets that we've seen of the starter evolutions. Hopefully, you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.